What's up, guys? Of lately, sure you've heard around the community I think the best way to characterize it is the apathy from the community towards Destiny 2. And honestly, I can't blame them. But I do want to preface this and say that this video is by no means a hit piece or trying to slam on Destiny in any way. It's just like constructive criticism of things that could be better, that could probably fix a lot of the issues within the game, and the things that are wrong with the game, because no game's perfect. They're all going to have their issues. But the nice thing about a live service game is they can fix some of these issues. It's just hopefully Bungie, will sometime in the future. I'm not really one to, complain a lot. I see that too much and I don't like it. And I think it's, honestly destructive towards people when all they think of is the negative things of certain things. But some things have to be called out. So, what are the issues with Destiny 2? Kind of have three main points. And the first point is the lack of community. What do I mean by lack of community? First part we're going to talk about is clans. Now, how do clans have a lack of community within Destiny 2? There is no encouragement to be a part of a clan within Destiny 2. First off, the rewards are abysmal, and to the point that I would challenge anyone in the game to name off the rewards that you actually get for being in a clan, or if they actually have any impact on your gameplay. I would venture to say that no one playing has ever thought about or even wanted to level up their clan for the purpose of the rewards. You have 5 rewards. One increases public event rewards, and the last one unlocks a weekly bounty for Hawthorne. And really, these are the rewards for being in a clan. Pretty abysmal. Not something you would go out of your way to get. And for anyone not in a large clan, they will never receive most of these rewards. And those that are in a large clan, the only thing that you get season to season is new banner pulls. And 99% of the people who play will never stop to look at your Guardian to be like, oh shoot, what clan banner pull does he have, or what season banner pull? And I think that these rewards need to be upped in some impactful way. Maybe with a clan helm or some sort of customizable space for a clan, a play space separate from the tower where clan members can go to hang out or find groups for activities in the game rather than through a clan chat. It is really sad that the only method of grouping with your clan is through a chat that, you can disable and not see. That's why it would be nice to have a space where you could go to meet with your clan, see who's online, maybe be able to message them or talk to them and see who's running what and who could help you with what. And this would help with clans actually wanting to have people join. When's the last time you saw any clan looking for people to join? And if necessary, for those smaller clans, scale the XP based off of how many members, if the rewards are always going to suck. I hope they don't always suck, but if they're always going to suck, then scale it. But there should be a reward for having committed clans and committed members to the game, and those dedicated to being good clan members to the community. There needs to be some encouragement within the game for players to join clans, and then for clans to actually be there for the members that join. I have heard so many times that people join clans and then still don't have people to play with or Sherper through the end game, which is a very sad part of being part of a clan. A clan should be a place people can join to make friends and create bonds with, but for most it is just a little like a title that really don't matter that much. There really is no incentive into the game to actually want to join a clan or be a part of a clan except for some clout on your emblem. And that's the first point of why I think that there is a lack of community amongst Destiny 2. And because of this lack of community in clans, some choose to go solo. That is why there are so many achievements and things tied to doing things solo. And I can't be the only one who thinks playing solo is a lame way to play. I would much rather play the game with people than play solo. I think it is much more enjoyable to do so. And sure, solo shows skill in the game. And yes, it should be required for titles and triumphs and whatnot. But it seems that solo is the way that the game is going, and that's where the main emphasis is. And sure, from an accessibility standpoint, it is good. You don't need a team to do a lot of stuff, but I think that for building a community and a community that players would want to stick around for, it would be better to emphasize teams, joining a clan and being with people and hanging out with people. And I mean, even from a standard gameplay perspective, most builds are built around single persons and their impact on the gameplay with no regard to synergy from others. Yes, we have lots of things in the game that do help with this synergy from other people, like Cenotaph Helmet, Aeons, Omnioculus, Rat King, Outbreak, Lumina Navigator, Divinity, Edge of Action, and the Edge of Intent, Hierarchy of Knees, Tractor Cannon, Gallowhorn, Heart Shadow, Phoenix Cradle, Speedloader Slacks, and there's a couple other exotics and aspects that are not listed. But out of all that I just listed, how many can you say that you actually see people use? I could say maybe 3 with Gallowhorn and Tractor Cannon and Divinity, maybe Aeons and higher end content, but for the majority of content, Gallowhorn, Tractor Cannon, and Divinity. And before the uproar, yes, I understand that there is a lot of team play within the exotics, but again, how often does that actually equate to people building team comps and builds around their team rather than just individual builds pulling most of the weight? Most of the time, builds are built for the individual impact rather than for the team impact. And it's not that it's not a good thing to have individual builds, it's just the power level of those builds way outclass anything, and essentially removing the need to build a team comp or a team synergistic build. And I can show an example. Take Phoenix Cradles, for instance. They theoretically could have a huge impact on the survivability of a team, but the game does not in any means, other than standing in the sunspots, let you know that they work for you. And because most of the time they don't, it's really hard to understand that they do. So for it to work effectively, you have to, 1, be able to communicate with your teammates. That's really hard with most of the content in the game because it's either match made and there's no way to communicate with your players. And trust me, it's really hard to communicate with people if you're not in a team or not friends with them. If it's just a match made activity, I don't think there's actually any way that you can contact them without sending them a friend request. And 2, even if you communicate with people that they can stand in the sunspots and that the sunspots work for them, even though they're not on a Titan class, they have to remember that those things work. And what is the point of the build if the teammates don't take advantage of it? But some will say, oh, it has its advantages as a solo player. Yes, it makes sunspots last longer, but that's really not that big of a deal when you can run around with the mini hammer and heal off of the kills with the mini hammer and create more sunspots, which trivializes the point of longer sunspots. And it also gives you a longer super, which can have its benefits, but why have a longer super when you could just throw Synthoceps on and deal more damage? Which again, trivializes this exotic. The point I am making that the game is so dependent on classes being jacks of all trades that there really isn't a drive for team play, because there's almost no difference between the 3 classes other than supers, and any class can pretty much fill any role in the game except Well, obviously, because Well is the strongest super in the game. But how does this tie into the lack of community? It ties in because of the super solo nature and lack of differentiation between the classes drives the community to be more solo by nature rather than bring people together by reinforcing the idea of team play. It's the idea that why would I find people to do this when I could do this solo? There's no need for others in a majority of content other than raids, and that brings me to LFG, my third point of why there's a lack of community in Destiny 2. Why does it show a lack of community? If you take a glance at LFG posts that a majority of players post, they're looking to get in and get out with no thoughts and not trying to have anything more. The fact that many players can do no mic runs of Grandmaster content and never talk to their team once, or the sheer amount of people looking for no mic runs, shows how the solo aspect of the game permeates through the whole of the game. And it's to such a degree that most people doing raids don't know how to actually do encounters in raids or GMs. Basically, they join hoping they can be carried by someone who actually took the time to know the encounter, and if you feel called out, just know that games are supposed to be a time of fun and enjoyment with others, at least in this kind of game. If there are no meaningful experiences from playing the game, then you are playing wrong. The point I am making is that there is a large emphasis on solo rather than a team. It kills the community and teamwork aspect that the game, in the end game, such as raids, encourage. But most of the time, the solo nature of the game is why you hear so many LFG nightmare stories, and that LFG most of the time is an awful experience because a large portion of the community doesn't actually know how to do anything team-based, because everything they've learned in the game to that point is all about the individual rather than team aspects, like solo loss sectors or matchmaking every activity within the game. And that's why I personally think that matchmaking in harder difficulties shouldn't be a thing. Sure, it allows you to play more, but it ruins the community of the game and really actually trying to break through to get a group to do things that require a team, and working as a team is a foreign concept to the majority of the player base. Now, I'm not saying that LFG is bad. It is in fact a good thing. There will be times when people just don't have anyone to play with. But if you're going to be a terrible person or not communicate at all, you're part of the reason no one likes LFG. LFG shows a lack of people trying to build communities and people wanting to speed through stuff rather than finding people to play with. Now, I understand some might not want to invest that much. That is fine. But I think the game should still encourage finding consistent clans and groups to do stuff with, and LFG is a last resort, not the norm. But the game does not do this. Overall, I think the game does a poor job of encouraging players to try to find a clan or a community to play with. And that is so sad, because that is when Destiny is at its finest. And the game suffers because of this. Because a lot of players will quit a game because it just feels terrible to never play with anybody else. And Bungie really doesn't facilitate a reason for a clan to seek new members or a reason for players to want to play with others. Now, if you heard all this and you're looking for a clan to join that is active and helps people with in-game and sometimes trials, you can request to join Lost Squatch. It is exactly as it sounds. It'll be in the description. If you go to bungie.net, click Destiny 2, then sign into your Bungie account, then under the community tab, then click the clan search options and type Lost Squatch, it should show up and you can send a request to join. Obviously, there's some rules. We also have a Discord server, and it will be also in the description. There will be a part 2 coming soon. I have 3 points to make, and this video will just be exponentially long if it's all engrossed into one video. But if you like this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your thoughts. Am I right? Do you disagree? Please be cordial. This is just thoughts I had on the state of the game of Destiny currently. And again, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I want to thank you